I platinumed Monster Hunter World, and it was an exhilarating as well as an exhausting experience. There are a total of 50 trophies, the platinum itself, 2 golds, 11 silver, and 36 bronzes. This platinum journey had me playing through the story, gathering miscellaneous trophies like fishing. Oh, he's got the bait. You're mine. Get the fish. Get him. Yeah. And one of the longest grinds I have ever done for a trophy yet. Come on. This is the one, I believe. I believe this is the one. Yes! A guide gave this platinum a 300-hour estimate, and let's just say, you'll be surprised how long it took me by the end of this video. So let's dive into the story of Monster Hunter World. Our journey has us a part of the 5th Fleet, boarding a boat to leave for the new world to discover the reason why elder dragons are migrating to this place. We meet some fellow hunters and our 2 co-workers, the Handler and Palico. Enjoying food and a new life, it goes wrong very quickly, with a volcano-like creature rising from the depths of the ocean, causing our boat to be caught in the process. We can't do much other than scale to the top of this creature and use our grappling hook to catch a ride away from it and enter the ancient forest for the first time. With 0 resources at our disposal, we need to head for the Research Commission's HQ, where we unlock our first trophy, as we encountered a pack of Jaguars, and our only way to avoid them is by hiding in the bushes until it's safe. The headquarters within our sights, we're ambushed by our first true monster, and are thankfully saved by one of the members until another issue comes up, an even bigger monster. Luckily, we make it to the headquarters where we're given a grand tour of the facilities, such as the smithy, the canteen, and other various resources. It is not too long until we start hunting monsters, but firstly, we need to pick a weapon to use. With many available, I decide to go with the dual blades. For people who have played Monster Hunter World before, you've probably noticed the defender armor and weapons. The reason for that is I've already played the game myself on PC. For those who don't know, this armor set is optional, as its main purpose is to get you to the expansion of Iceborne as quick as possible, as it is only accessible after beating the base game, meaning this armor set is very powerful for the time being. We have our first council meeting about the latest monster we encountered in the ocean, Zora Magdaros. These elder dragons have been with us since the dawn of time, altering the ecosystem, reshaping the land, and leaving disaster in their wake. Once in every decade or so, they flock to this continent. But for what reason? That is our ultimate goal, but we need to work our way up before we start dealing with elder dragons. Our first job is to slay some small monsters like these Kestodons, and by doing so, we would earn the 2nd trophy, allowing us to take on 2-star assignments. And the very next hunt would be our first large monster, the great Jaguars we saw earlier, which is easily dealt with due to the defender gear we have equipped. This also results in a trophy for completing a quest in multiplayer. We're then introduced to a future hunt, a Pookie, and it seems to be agitated due to the large volcanic boulder, which is a vital clue into tracking where the elder dragon is. Before that, we need to open a new campsite in the ancient forest. This brings the benefit of being able to stock up supplies, as well as quick travel to them, but we have to deal with a Kula Yaku, a not so threatening creature. After successfully slaying the monster, this would allow us to hunt the agitated Pookie, which results in our next trophy. A part of Zora Magdaros is then discovered in the Wildspire Waste, a new area we'll be visiting as we must help keep our scholars safe to investigate this evidence. We're attacked by a Baroth, and during this fight we would gain a trophy in for mounting our first monster. After slaying it, we would meet a member of the 1st Fleet who would like to have a conversation with us, in which we would learn they are also following the Elder Dragon. At this point, we need to slay through several various monsters before progressing the story onward, meaning we would unlock some trophies. One for firing an SOS flare, which allows players to join your game and help slay the monster. I'm gonna fire my SOS flare for a trophy. I'm not gonna fire an SOS flare. Let me fire an SOS flare now for a trophy. There we go. Help. As well as earning the right to take on 4-star assignments. Gathering enough evidence on Zora Magdaros, we find out it is intending to go through the Great Ravine, and the commander has a plan to try and capture it. With Zora arriving at daybreak, we have 2 barriers built in the target's path, and our objective at the first barrier is to wear it down with cannons and ballistas, then restrain it with binders. However, It breaks through the first barrier and we have to initiate the mountain phase, where we'll weaken it even further. Another major problem arrives, a mysterious monster that we're going to have to repel, in which we successfully do, but this results in Zora breaching through the second barrier, causing a fissure to be created in the Great Ravine. We travel through this Great Ravine, and like always, things go wrong, but luckily we're saved and taken to the research base occupied by the Third Fleet. They advise us on going out on an expedition into the Coral Highlands to gather more clues on Zora, as well as deal with other monsters like the Palumu, as we'll need its parts to repair an airship to access the Rotten Vale down below, to gather even more intel on Zora. I'd pick up 2 trophies, one for catching my first fish, and the other for earning the right to take on 5-star assignments. Fixing the airship allows us to safely enter the Rotten Vale, where we find more evidence of Zora, and find out the reason why parts of it were found.
I think the Vale is where the monsters come to die. It's their graveyard, and this whole land is a vast ecosystem revolving around it.
What's the mystery behind the Elder Crossing? You know the answer.
They die here.
Bingo! An Elder's death is the catalyst. The Vale is Zora Magdaros's resting place.
This leads to the question, where has Zora gone if it's not in the graveyard anymore? To answer that question, we need to seek out the first Wyverian, in which we find them, but we need to conquer 2 monsters before being given that information. In the process of this, I would unlock a trophy for befriending our first Tail Rider, which would allow my Palico to gain a new ability to use. Successfully dealing with the monsters, the first Wyverian tells us the dragon hovers on the brink of death, but the light of life is calling to it, drawing it away from its proper grave, in which it has wandered into the Everstream and lost its way. Now it stands poised to perish there, brimming with fiery, life-brining energy. The Everstream connects every corner of this land like the veins of a beating heart. Should the dragon succumb to death there, its glut of energy will hurtle through those veins, setting them afire and searing the land to ash and scorched earth. Meaning our plan has changed drastically, and we need to deal with Zora Magdaros by luring it into the ocean as the Everstream borders it, meaning the bioenergy released would start a new ecosystem in the ocean, and life would go on. We have one shot to deter Zora away from the Everstream, so the fleet has built an ultimate weapon known as the Dragonator. Like before, our job is to wear Zora down by the time it gets to it, and that we're likely to see the monster known as Nergigante again from when we tried to capture Zora before. We easily repel Nergigante, and all we have to do is wait for Zora to approach our ship.
Where's my Dragonator? Ready when you are. Good. Fire!
We did it!
Yes!
Nice.
It's over.
However, our story doesn't end here. Since Zora was led out into the ocean, there have been reports of monsters invading other territories, as well as the sudden appearance of older and more powerful monsters. So of course, we're going to have to deal with them, resulting in several trophies. One for moving into an upgraded room, establishing 5 camps around the world, and the right to take on 7-star assignments. We meet the Admiral, who explains to us of a new area found further in the Everstream after we repelled Zora. We go on to an expedition with him and enter the Elder's Recess, a place filled with bioenergy. This area is filled with more powerful monsters than before, as well as having the important question as to why Zora was travelling to this place instead of the Vale. We then find Nergigante tracks, but we got other monsters to take care of, such as the Strongjaw Uragan, the Lavasioth that resides in the fiery depths, and the Dodo Gamma. Wait, that's the wrong one. After gaining enough tracks on Nergigante, we would unlock its questline. The defender armor still holding up, it wasn't too much of a hassle despite its agile and strong attacks. By successfully slaying the monster, we would get a trophy and learn that it feeds on elder dragons, but slaying it doesn't solve the issue as these elder dragons are continuing to invade other areas. Meaning we need to find tracks just like we did with Nergigante, but this time to locate these other elder dragons. And this is where investigations come in. It is a better plan to combine in finding these tracks with investigations. These are quests found in the resource center, where you'll most likely have pages upon pages of quests to choose from. Essentially, we are getting several progressive trophies out of the way with this, which means we get a trophy for completing our first investigation. Our next trophy would come from finding our first miniature crown for a monster. Basically, when you fight a monster, it has a chance to be a different size. In this case, it was the smallest it can be, and you can probably guess what this means for a progressive trophy. Where's the small? That is ridiculous. Oh my god. Next up, I got a trophy for cooking my first well done steak, capturing my first monster, and recording my first silver crown or higher for a monster, which in this case is a larger monster than usual. After finding enough tracks for each of the elder dragons, it meant we can go and fight them, and they have some of the coolest intro scenes in the entire game, as well as the battle music. And this was the first time a monster really tested my patience. The Kushala Daora was such an annoying fight. Just die. Where's he gone? I don't see him. Ah! Why can't I leave? Oh my. Oh my god. Successfully slaying the elder dragons, we meet back up with the Admiral, who says an old friend of his was tracking down a certain place brimming with energy, specifically a cove found deep within the Elder's recess. Inside lies a large mass of bioenergy created from the death of elder dragons, and it turns out to be something more extreme.
It's too pure. What is this thing really?
No!
How did I not get hit by that? Oh, okay, yeah. I just missed everything. Oh. Good job. Defeating the monster is a success, and our mission is completed. The mysterious monster is declared as Xenojiva, and the conclusion was that it was likely luring dying elder dragons to feast on the bioenergy produced. And if we hadn't have interfered, it could have turned out much worse. By finishing the story of Monster Hunter World, we're rewarded a trophy. 21 of 50 trophies. At this point, I went into the story of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, an expansion to the base game, to get even better gear as well as unlocking trophies along the way. Also, if you didn't know, Iceborne has its own trophy list, which sounds normal, but it also has a platinum trophy. However, we're going to save that for a potential future video. Back to the trophies. There are 4 trophies to do with capturing creatures, not monsters. A creature is a smaller life form that can be placed in your room. It is simple, but they also have very hard spawn rates, meaning if they are not there when you have loaded into the area, you have to back out and go back in until it eventually spawns. Then we put on our ghillie mantle to make it more difficult to be seen, and equip our capture net to catch the 4 creatures, resulting in 4 separate trophies. The fish is there! I will try. I wouldn't say I'm very good at fishing. Oh, he's got the bait. You're mine. Get the fish. Get him. Yeah. I got it. Voila. It's got a gold crown on it. It's there. It's there. Blaze! Finally. Oh my god. That was the last one. Our next trophy would be from collecting over 50 guild cards. These cards are from multiplayer. It tells you the stats and gear of a player. We can cheese this trophy though by having another player send their guild card, receive it, and then delete it just to receive it again. And doing this over 50 times results in that trophy. This other trophy was really easy. All I had to do was respond to an SOS flare and help complete 10 quests. Next, I had to obtain 5 highly rare pieces of armor. This armor needs to be a rarity of 8, and these are mostly the Elder Dragon armor sets, and once I had enough materials to craft 5 pieces, I would unlock the trophy. In fact, most of these upcoming trophies are extremely easy. They are just time consuming, like raising the proficiency of my Palico gadget to level 10. For example, our Palico has a healing gadget, and after using it many times as well as completing hunts, it would gain enough experience to reach level 10. Hunt 100 large monsters. Obtain 100,000 research points, which are obtained in several ways like finding tracks of monsters, breaking parts, or defeating and capturing them. Obtain 5 highly rare weapons. Complete 100 quests in multiplayer. Possess 1 million zenny, which is the currency of the game. Hunt your first tempered monster, which are monsters that deal more damage and have more health compared to their normal version. Completing our first arena quest, in which you would think it was these quests found in the optional section, but no. This is located in a different part of the game called the Gathering Hub. However, these arena quests give you a set of loadouts to choose, meaning you can't quickly clear the quest as you would with your original gear. But it is what it is. As I'm just playing hours upon hours of this game, I would eventually reach 50 monsters captured and delved more into crown hunting. A huge reason why this platinum is so rare and borderline tedious. I talked briefly about crowns earlier when we got a related trophy. Essentially, every time you fight a monster, it varies in size. You have a miniature gold crown for fighting the smallest, a silver crown for finding nearly the largest, and a giant gold crown for a maximum size monster. And we have to get both crowns for every monster excluding the ones added in updates, which if my counting is correct, 28 monsters results in 56 crowns. So what are the odds? Well, it varies. For example, in investigations, there are reward slots, and depending on how many there are, can determine the chance for one to spawn. Let's say you have at least 1 silver and 1 gold for rewards, you have a 6% chance of a miniature, or a 3% chance for a giant. If you have 4 or more gold rewards, then the giant crown increases to 6% as well. Luckily for a few monsters, there are several quests that can guarantee you a crown, such as the miniature and giant crown for the Great Jaguarus, and a few other singular crowns for 8 other monsters. There are also several quests that increase the odds to 12% for either a miniature or giant crown. A bonus is that they have put multiple monsters in these quests. Eventually, I would get the giant crown and miniature crown collector trophies for attaining at least 10 of each. And because of all this hunting for crowns, I would get several trophies. One for hunting 500 large monsters. Oh my god, I just got the double. And apparently I've killed 500 large monsters at the same time. Reaching a hunter rank 100, and completing 50 investigations. Further into the crown hunting, I would have to hunt elder dragons, which do not have the 12% chance boost, meaning I had to rely on my investigations I had collected, meaning I would eventually get a trophy for slaying 50 elder dragons. I'd also get another trophy for completing 50 optional quests, as some of the rewards would allow me to upgrade various resources. Investigations are extremely important for crown hunting the elder dragons. Unfortunately, you can run out of investigations, as you're only given a set number of them, and the only way to get more is random chance after doing things like slaying a monster, breaking parts, and so on. So if you run out of investigations of a certain monster, you just have to wait until you get more. And from what I've learned, there doesn't seem to be a way to guarantee a certain monster for an investigation. This is where SOS flares come in handy. They have a filter system allowing you to easily search for a monster. For example, I can search for Kieran Investigations, and while it would produce no results sometimes, I'd eventually get a result. And assuming if I was quick enough, I could join the investigation, as players are limited to 4 in a hunt. There is also another method of measuring a monster. A channel out there put out measurements for each monster, allowing you to easily determine if you have a crown. Measure the monster, doesn't match up to the guide, then return from the quest and go again. This is a good way to crown hunt if you don't need anything else on the investigation. Another thing, what even is the point of silver crowns? From what I know, they only seem to contribute to the first trophy related to crowns, but you need a gold crown for almost everything to get the remaining trophies. It is tedious. You just keep slaying the same monster over and over until you eventually get the crown for it. There isn't much else to it than just playing the game for fun. As I had gone into the Iceborne expansion and gotten some of the best gear available, it would allow me to easily clear through quests quickly, and eventually I would get every crown for the 2 trophies. I've been spending probably like 2 hours hunting Diablos, probably 20 hunts. I didn't get a single crown. First Teostra I do, I get a small crown. Oh my god, it actually happened. It was the final investigation. Hey, come on, finally. Miniature Crown Master. Obtain a crown for many monsters in your hunting log. I didn't know I was already there, to be honest. That's insane. Still got to get the large crowns, though. I think I have 3 remaining, but that's crazy. Yes! It took a total of 76 Black Diabloses for the crowns. Come on. This is the one, I believe. I believe this is the one. Yes! 66496. I think that's the smallest one. I'd say I'm lucky for most of those crowns, as seen from my guild card. Some monsters are slain more than others just to farm materials or potential investigations. The crazy thing is, if I was to go for the platinum trophy in Iceborne, I would have to crown hunt even more monsters, and it would be much slower as they have much more health in the expansion compared to the base game. At this point, I was so close to the platinum trophy for Monster Hunter, but I still had some grindy trophies to get through. Thankfully, they were not as long as the crown hunting. This trophy had me maxing out the research level for all the monsters. Remember those research points? Every time you get research points, it goes towards the ecological research level of that monster, such as showing you what materials drop from a part of it. So all I had to do was go to the ecological research center and see what monsters did not have the maxed out levels. Then just hunt those monsters by focusing on gathering tracks, breaking parts, and capturing them for more research points. Eventually, I would get my last monster to the max research level and get the trophy. The next trophy was simply to hunt 50 tempered monsters, and the last trophy before the platinum was the dreaded complete 50 arena quests. Annoying. However, you can spam a quest that can be completed in roughly 2 minutes depending on your skill. It felt like the loading times were longer than the actual mission, and by just playing through this same mission 49 times, I would pop the trophy and the platinum for Monster Hunter World. All I have to do is kill one more of these creatures, and then the platinum trophy for Monster Hunter World will be mine. Done. Now I just gotta patiently wait the 20-second timer. I cannot believe it. The platinum trophy for Monster Hunter World. I'm surprised. It is long, but it also took quicker than I expected. And then we're gonna see the trophy complete 50 arena quests. Conqueror of the New World. Platinum trophy for Monster Hunter World. You know what? Let's have a look. 1.1% of players, ultra rare. I'd like to say thanks to my friend for helping me in going for this platinum trophy. It took around 160 hours, which is including the entirety of the Iceborne story. It would have been longer if I did not use the defender gear in the beginning, and it could possibly have been much slower if I didn't have the gear from the expansion. Overall, it is a fun game to play. The trophy list is not difficult, it is just very time consuming. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.